Friday, September the 4th. And can I just say before I go any further, I apologise if I'm dreadfully wonky, but the tripod seems to be slipping into the herb bed, so it might be that you have to do this to keep up. Never mind, it won't make any difference. Anyway, it's actually quite sunny at the moment, quite nice and warm. Yesterday we had an absolute deluge, and if the allotment wasn't looking sad enough already, it completely battered so many things. So everything's looking a little bit sorry for itself this time of year, but we'll take a look around anyway. I'm going to be planting up my tulip bulbs, which I meant to do last time and still didn't do, and planting in some red cabbages for over the winter. And also at the very end, I'm really excited about this, I've actually managed to go and speak to a neighbour of mine who's got the most incredible butternut squash coming out of his greenhouse. So if you don't want to watch the rest of this, skip to the end, because he's a bit of a character. So yeah, anyway, come on, we'll have a little look around. Oh, come and have a look in my greenhouse. I suppose it was bound to happen really, but the terrible blight that we had earlier on in the season on the tomatoes, all the outdoor tomatoes, has now reached the inside of the greenhouse, and it's got my brandywine. Oh, and if we have a little look here, this is what happens when you leave it to do its business, and it's not a pretty sight, is it? Look at the tomatoes. Let me see. Yeah. They just go brown, patchy, mouldy. But you can see once it actually gets into the stem, it has done here and has done here, that you've pretty much had it really. So brandywine have gone. The gigantamo, they've just disappeared. And the big boy, let me back up again. I'll show you the big boy. All gone. So I mean, if we look here again, that's another example of it on a green tomato. Not looking happy at all, but I can forgive this greenhouse. It has provided us with such a lot over the summer. I mean, we've still got, look at this though, what would you do here? Obviously this is going to be covered in blight next time I come down, especially being as I've just touched that other tomato plant now. But I might just pick those and take them home and see what happens. But you can look at the, if you look at, oh, I don't like that fly thing. If you look at the leaves behind, where's my finger? Oh, not looking at all healthy. Cucumbers have gone, but you know what? I'm still waiting with the cucamelons. What is meant to be going on with these? Look, they seem to get to that. That's all they're doing. Oh, there you go. That was really good. I've had about 3. I am not in the least impressed, and they've rambled everywhere, blocked the light, strangled stems, and I really hoped that, you know, it would be worth hanging on for a fantastic bumper crop, but no, not happy with them. So you live and learn. Anyway, that's the greenhouse then. Needs a good clear out now, ready to do its work over the winter. Seems like an age ago now, but look at this, you see labels on the 16th of April 2016. I planted 2 little mountain pine seeds that I got in one of those funky veg type kits. Grow your own forest. It might take a while for these to become a forest, but actually I'm really impressed. I've been able to grow a pine tree from seed. So that one's looking a little bit healthier than that one. So I'll be keeping an eye on these over the winter. I mean, I suppose they'll be okay outside, won't they? I'll have to look that up. But if not, they'll be being well cosseted, so they're nice and strong for next year. But yeah, that's a good thing. The beans are still doing really well. It's really weird though, because the ones that we're getting now seem a lot smaller than when they were in full growth in the middle of the season. But we have picked pounds and pounds and pounds and pounds and pounds, to the extent that we pickled them, we've frozen them, we've given them away to friends and neighbours. So last weekend, you know it's bad and it gets to the stage where you're approaching people and they say, no, it's all right, thank you, we've got enough, before you've even offered them anything. So last weekend we decided to put a tray outside our back gate, just saying to people that if they wanted some beans they could take some, and if they wanted to put a donation in for next year's seeds, they could put a donation in this little box that we put by them. So I thought it was quite a nice thing to do, quite a neighbourly thing to do, until I went and collected the box that night, and someone had actually taken the time to tear off a little bit of paper and write a pen and write a note telling me where I could put my beans, which I think however many beans you've had, that's no excuse for bad manners. So yeah, that was a bit strange. Anyway, these are great. Next year, as I said last time, we're not going to grow as many because of the ridiculous glut we've now got. But really, what I wanted to show you was down here. What I've got here, right next to the climbing beans, is where the broad beans were. Now, obviously, they finished about a month ago now. Absolutely love broad beans, and that's something I want to grow much more of next year because they're so beautiful, especially when they're just podded, like them in salads and that sort of thing. Anyway, broad beans have gone, and as you probably know, many people say leave the roots in because the roots hold these tiny little nodules that I always thought stored the nitrogen. But then I was told by very much an expert in the field a couple of weeks ago that they don't store the nitrogen, but they provide something that helps the nitrogen go from the soil up into the stems, up into the leaves. And there was a very scientific name for it. If you know what that name is, can you please just tell me in the comments below, because I've completely forgotten, I was just nodding. But yes, the idea is that any of the legumes, if you leave the roots in the soil, they will help to provide that nitrogen for your next crop. And especially if you're doing something like crop rotation, it's really useful to have that natural food already in the soil. Much more scientific way of saying it, I know. But the interesting thing though, was this friend of mine said that, you know, the common theme is, or the common knowledge is that the roots store 40% of all the beans' nitrogen. So where does the other 60% go? It's in the stems and the leaves, which is why it's so important that we keep those as well. I mean, I just chopped those off. I kept the roots in, chopped the stems off. I suppose they did go on the compost and that they'll do their magic there. But he just digs the whole lot into the soil for the following year and lets it rot down, which actually I thought was a top tip. Anyway, what I'm going to do is plant some winter cabbage. Now, as you may or may not know, our cabbage crop this year was, it's one of those other things that was struck by a nasty disease, and it got club root, and we think the main reason for that is it possibly wasn't in firmly enough, and I mean they were very, very mature seedlings, if you can have a mature seedlings. As they went in, they were nice and strong, but obviously not firmed in enough, maybe rocked around a bit, roots suffered, weren't strong enough to fight off club root when it came. So the only things that really did survive were was the kale, the Capilonera and the curly kale, and they'll survive anything. What I've got, having learned that lesson, I have raked this over, I have hoed, I mean you can see weeds on here, but really it's just the surface. I've just hoed the tops of the weeds, mainly annual weeds there. And I've made sure to give it a really good stamping. So bearing in mind that I'm in view of many houses here, I'm having a lovely little dance up and down the soil, minding my own business, but basically to firm it down. And the plants that I have, oh, they're one of those classics, look, where it doesn't actually give you the variety, it just gives you the colour. Cabbage red. Okay, so I'm going to put my cabbage red in this soil. I'm back again now. That's the lovely thing about the allotment is the social side, people walking by and chatting, but it doesn't get your cabbages planted. Oh, and by the way, my microphone's fallen off since the last shot in this one, so I hope you can still hear me. Okay, I've got my red cabbage here for harvesting over the winter, and it's literally a case of pushing it up, trying not to touch the roots. It's got quite a nice root system on there. Leaves are looking a little bit moth-eaten. Now what I've actually tried to do, because the idea is that you put it in, like you dib a hole and put it in the hole and then firm round it, as opposed to digging a nice big hole and then putting nice loose soil around it. But I haven't got a dibber, so I was trying to use the end of this hoe, and this is as far as I've got. Let me just put that down a second. There. That's that is, oh, hold on. Oh, I can do it. I can do it. It might be a bit labour intensive, but okay. Okay, that hole is, oh, I'd say that was about 4 inches, wouldn't you? That looks a good 4 inches, right? Okay, now what I'm going to try and do now is squash, you know, all the care I took getting it out. I'm going to get that in there. I'm not going to worry if it comes right up to the leaves. There we have a poor little strangulated red cabbage. I tell you what though, that soil couldn't be any firmer. Okay, so I'm going to carry on doing these now. I will do them 4 inches deep and about 12 inches apart. So really I can do another one here. And what did I say? I've got 4 each, yeah, and then just carry on down there, okay? So I'll probably speed this bit up. You don't want to hear me huffing and puffing. And there we have them. 8 little red cabbages squished into 8 tiny, very firm holes. Just need a good watering now, and let's hope we can have some for Christmas dinner. Oh, that would be good. That would be good. Here's hoping. These nasturtiums that have self-seeded amongst the potatoes this year have just been absolutely fantastic. I mean, I don't know if you can see all the bees on them. I mean, that's good for starters, but the colour of them is beautiful, and I'm sure most of you know that you can actually use the flowers and put the flowers, eat the flowers, and put them on salads, make your salad look posh. But you can also, not only can you eat the flowers, you can eat the flower buds. And let's see if I can find a pod. Hold on, let's look down here and see. Yeah, there's a seed pod there. Oh, there's a big one. Okay, so you've got your flower bud there and your seed bud there. Okay, and you can eat both of those. These are supposed to be like capers, and I suppose actually if you split that into 3, which you can do, yeah, look a bit like capers as well. Okay, so you can fool your guests into thinking you've got capers, but I'm going to give them a go. I'm going to try them now. Okay, let's just turn this camera around. Okay, here I've got my, I'm going to go for the flower bud first. Okay, so flower bud, nice little addition to a salad. Well, it was quite nice. Quite nice. I wouldn't have too many, but yeah, it's certainly very hot, very radishy actually, very, very radishy. Is the nasturtium related to the radish? I don't know. Anyway, let's try the next one. Next one, I'll show you. I'm not going to eat all 3 of these. I'm just going to try one of them. So, excuse my dirty fingers. That's really hot. That is really, really hot. That is I don't know if it's particularly pleasant. if you want to surprise your guests and just put something special in their salad. Try one of those. Oh, it's actually it's turning out to be a really lovely sunny September evening, and I think this time of year you really appreciate it, especially after the deluge that we had yesterday when it was absolutely vile all day. Just to have this lovely
warm, I would say, summery evening. The light's just coming through now, it's really nice. Probably looks very dark on there, but there you go. Before I go, something I meant to do last time and I didn't, and almost went today without doing it, is plant my tulips. Now, a while ago, Joan Doyle put on her Facebook page about some black tulips that she'd found. She found some bulbs from Morrison's. I think they were 99 pence for a pack, and I looked everywhere. Well, I looked in Morrison's and didn't find any. So I ended up getting some Verve ones from B&Q, which were actually £3, which I thought was okay. 10 bulbs in there. And what I'm going to do, I'm just going to pop them in these now. Now, these aren't the most pretty planters, but I don't know if you remember, last year my pond area was just in the first thing that sort of first incarnation of it really in the spring was just pots and pots of bulbs, and you tended not to see the planters anyway because they were all different heights and stacks. So what I'm going to do, I've got some bulb planting compost, which actually we got from the local garden centre. It was selling off all its compost for £1 a bag. I don't know why. If these don't come up, that'll be why. But we'll try it. All I'm going to do, Auntie Don, what would you think, eh? I'm just going to bung some soil in a pot, try and get it in the pot and out of the pot. And bulbs tend to need to be, depending on the bulb really, I think tulip bulbs need to be about 4 times their depth. Soon find out. They'll find their way anyway. I think the main thing is, as long as you have them the right way up, you can't really go wrong. So I'm just putting a layer of soil in here. I'm saying soil. The bulb planting compost. Apparently, this is good for free draining and encourages bulbs to flower year after year. I'm not quite sure. Not quite sure how that would work. Anyway, I've got about a quarter of the pot full of soil. Slightly more in there, about a third of the pot. Quite black, very, very black soil. I know all I'm going to do. This is as basic as I get. This is no frills gardening. I open the packet. I have checked the bulbs in the packet and they're absolutely beautiful. Really lovely. They're almost conkers of bulbs. That conker brown. Obviously that bit goes at the top, roots at the bottom, and I tend to like to put things in odd numbers, as most of you do I'm sure. So there's going to be 5 in each pot, and even though one pot's smaller than the other, they should still be okay. So I'll show you this in a second. Oh, nearly went in upside. What would happen if it went in upside down? Do you think it would eventually find its way the right way up? I think it probably would. There we are, look at that. Couldn't be easier. 1, 2, 3, right way up, 4, 5, and if I show you, there. Couldn't be easier, could it really? Although I'm saying all this, and there's no bulb experts out there shaking their head in horror. Now I'm just going to top it up with compost, and then what I'll do with these is put them with the other pots of bulbs that I had last year. Once they died down, we moved them from the pond area and just put them around the corner basically to die off and have a little rest. And so hopefully we'll see them again next year. If we don't, we know it's because I've done this. Okay, so if you were really posh and had a bit more finesse and a few more bulbs, you could layer them. So you could do like a bulb lasagna, I think they call it, where they just crumbling that on the top. You put your biggest bulbs at the bottom, and then medium-sized bulbs a couple of inches above, and then tiny bulbs on top, and then they sort of grow through each other. Sounds nice. Right, okay, that's it. Bulbs done. I'll need to label them. So I'm going to put that there for now, and I'll label them before I go home. I've got a neighbour who lives over the road who's got an allotment, but he's actually been growing the most incredible or incredibly fast growing butternut squash in his greenhouse. Never grown one before. I had put a photo of it up on the UK Here We Grow Facebook page, and several people were asking about it. So today I went over and met Alan, as he's called, and just had a quick word with him about his butternut squash. So I thought you might like to see what he's got to say. So here's Alan.
Mike Kelly for the BBC.
Right then, we've got Alan here, who's got fantastic green fingers and has been behind the growth, the fantastic growth of this, what we think is a butternut squash, coming out of his greenhouse. And I think Mike's just actually shown you the trail of just how long it is. It's actually, how big's your greenhouse, Alan?
Yeah, 8x6.
It's 8x6, the greenhouse. It's coming out the front, and I would say this is another 15 feet?
20.
20 feet. It's heading for the back door. We're a bit worried we might lose Alan. It's going over the hedge. It's got plenty of flowers and fruit on it. And Alan, I want you to tell me a little bit about it. Where did this come from?
It's just a seed that fell in the greenhouse out of a packet.
It fell in the greenhouse.
Yeah.
How did it fall in the
The
greenhouse?
packet went rotten. And it fell in, and that's it.
And it's a butternut squash.
It's a butternut squash.
And so what did you intend? What was supposed to be growing in your greenhouse?
Tomatoes, 6 tomato plants.
And what's happened to your tomato plants?
They're suffocated.
So what is your magic? What is your trick for this growing so big? What have you done to it? Have you given it loads of food?
No, just a bucket of water every night.
Is that all?
Yeah, nothing else.
Nothing special
No
to
food,
it?
nothing. No.
Okay. Right, well I think it's just to show that Alan here has been growing all sorts, haven't you, Alan?
Yeah,
for years
yeah,
and years and years.
yeah.
Do you actually like butternut squash?
This is the first one I've ever had.
Okay. But you do like the flowers, don't you?
Yeah, so
What do you do with the flowers?
what do you call it, you know?
Butter?
Butter. And then dip them in the frying pan.
And they're really nice.
They're beautiful.
Stuff them with cheese.
I've had them full of cheese and put under the grill.
So that's fantastic. So that's going to keep you going. If
Yeah.
nothing, even if you don't like the butternut squash, the flowers will
Yeah,
keep you going.
I think I like the butternut squash. There's some good ones there.
There's some fantastic ones there. Well, as you can see, Alan has certainly got green fingers, and he's we're really looking forward to seeing what these squash turn out like. And maybe we'll come back to Alan, and he's going to do a few recipes for us.
I'm going to let it die in the frost.
You can let it die in the frost and just hope
See
for the
what
best.
happens.
Do you think we'll have a frost before it reaches the house?
I hope not.
I'm a little bit worried about you disappearing overnight, Alan.
Not half round. Yeah.
All right, okay. Thanks, Alan. Thanks for sharing your squash story. Okay, well, I hope you enjoyed that. Alan is quite a character. Yeah, so we might see a bit more of him, and let's hope that his butternut squash actually mature and he becomes a newfound fan of them, because I think it's done incredibly well. What I was actually going to say today was how I think I feel like this at the end of each season, really. It gets towards the end of the season, it's a little bit, not sad, melancholic, is that the word? Where it's a bit like, you go like the clappers, getting things ready, like planning and planting and all that stuff, and then come harvest time, there's all that initial excitement and that rush and just that absolute generosity of fruit and vegetables, and then it sort of all starts to go over a bit. And I was just thinking the other day, it's a bit like Christmas. You might not look forward to it for months, but you know, people start talking about it in about July, and you know, and sort of the weeks leading up to Christmas, and all the planning and excitement and what you're going to do, and then Christmas Day comes and you've got everything there, and then next few days, yeah, it's still okay, you start to feel a bit jaded, and then by January the 6th, which is the official day we're supposed to take our decorations down, you can't wait to get shot of everything. And I'm starting to feel a bit like that with the allotment now. I'm starting to see things that are going over that I want to clear out the way and make space, and I'm already thinking, yeah, because next year I want to do this there, and next year I want to do that, and that hasn't worked, I'm not going to do that again, and already thinking ahead as to what's going to happen. And I suppose in a way that's wonderful, isn't it? It's this ongoing thing. It doesn't just stop, it carries on. I don't know where I was going with that one, but yeah. And saying that, actually, I'm saying that after a day of rain that we had yesterday, and apparently this week it's meant to be really nice and sunny, so it could soon feel very much like summer again. But so that's a look round. You've met Alan, you've met the butternut squash. Oh, and I would just like to say a huge thank you again to Tony and Brian over at UK Here We Grow, who very kindly put a trailer for me on their channel, about this channel, and there's been some lovely comments on there, and I know quite a few of you have subbed from there and come over to see me, and so I would like to say hello and welcome, and just it's just great to see you. I hope you stick around. That's not to say the old subscribers aren't welcome either, because you're also welcome. You know, there's some people who've been with me right from the beginning, and they're precious. They're precious there. Anyway, I'm starting to go on again just for a change, so I'm going to stop now. Let's hope we're going to have some nice weather this week. I think by the next time you come along, that greenhouse is going to be empty. There's going to be a lot of clearing up to be done. Still harvesting. Look at the chilies. I mean, that is 3 chili plants there, but I can't get enough of them. I've already dehydrated about 3 big jars. So, anyone else do anything with them? Let me know what you do. Okay, but I am going to go now. So, thank you very much. It's been lovely to see you again, and see you again in a couple